I will take you through the presentation. I will make it short, maybe compress it as much as possible. The agenda of the session is to understand how business is changing today's world, the new ways of work, the what we call the wows. The wows are certainly changing, and are we getting impacted because of the new ways of work? If so, what should I do to continue my job? Is there a new career opportunities for me? Because the whole world is talking about there is no job opportunities. People are thrown out of job. While we could have heard it in 1970s, 2000, when the 2K problem happened, 1970s when the computer came. So we are every 20-30 years we used to hear the same thing. Now couple of years before, it is digital, and it was more from AI chatbots, machines getting into men's place, in the sense men and women's place, and then it started occupying our space. So what would be the career opportunities? So that would be the agenda for the session. And uh, I think this is something very common, what we would have seen in the last couple of months. The business is not as usual. Business is closed many the time. When we want to do, uh, uh, we are restricted. In fact, this is the first time in the history of mankind that you are not supposed to go out. When you want to go out, you need to get approval from the government, within streets, within districts, within states, and whatnot. You all know that the corona started from China, and then moved across the globe, and India is also heavily hit. The stock markets have collapsed. The business people, they want sustenance plan, and I hope you all felt some kind of change in your life, correct? If at all you feel there is a change, please let me know what kind of change or what kind of learning you had it in your life. Probably you can put it on the chat. I'm really want to make it as more audible or more interactive session. So what change you have seen in the last 100 days, maybe from the lockdown to till now? I would expect more participants writing. Yeah, more of digital. Yes, Mr. Natarajan Sundar. Yeah, we have actually integrated the digital in our life. In fact, my 3-year-old daughter, she connects her iPad in the morning 9 o'clock, and then she sit with the laptop for her entire learning. Nothing is urgent. Okay, that is a philosophical learning. A better family life, yes, of course, Mr. Gonsalves, it is true. We all learned that there is something called a family. We all were rushing our life. We never know that what for we are literally running. So better family life is one. What else? I'm looking forward more. Tremendous pressure. I know there are many companies put a lot of stress to the people. There was a delivery thing sitting in your corner. Yeah, Raja, you are absolutely right. Time to introspect. Yeah, the whole world is into the introspection mode, Anita. So this is what happening today, and we are becoming more virtual, but the virtual is now really become the reality. um, Better control on financials, yes. So as we were looking lot of learning, there are so much of learning in business too. The business really understood there is only we need only a little to be very critical, and what are the real necessary things to do a business. In fact, over a period of decades, the business would have added so much of layers, so much of staff strength, even without a real productivity from that particular person. Or they would have created some new business units, which may not be actually giving a great results, expected results. So those things are now popping up. Man is now becoming understanding the power of data and digital tool. So when you see the digital, we always look into the data and then see what is really adding value, what is not adding value. And we really unleashed the power of digital tools. We also learned what is flexibility can give. In fact, millions of years ago, dinosaurs could not able to survive, but the cockroaches still survived because of the flexibility. The agility on the business is nothing but the resilient power. To my right, on this side, I have put in something called a war room. You all know that a war room is created when there is business uncertainty. The whole world is changing in terms of setting their targets, looking their business model. Normally, we talk about strategic plan of a 5 year, 3 year, what would be the vision and mission statement. But with the COVID kind of situation, a real VUCA world. In fact, I was talking to one of the a mentor of mine. He was saying, earlier we used to say that there is a better world called for disruption. We now talk about disruption. Earlier they call it as a revolution. A revolution is nothing but upgrading or making it positive. But we human, we started thinking more negative, and then we started talking about disruption. And the disruption is now true because it is highly volatile. We call it as VUCA. VUCA is formed by the military force. Volatile, very uncertain, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. So that kind of scenario, many companies they formed a war room, rooms for them. And in each war room there would be one expert sitting and then trying to answer so many or come up with solution for so many things by approaching the right teams. So the war room actually helps you to recover. It will never helps you to grow or sustain. People also learned the new profit is cost optimization. Because if you have a choice whether to be best product, best in class product, or best in cost, considering today you have to be give the right product, good product to people. You also need to be very what you call a less cost product. And then ensure that your business competitors, other competitors, they follow on the way. If you take either Walmart or even Reliance, they all adapt a similar strategy where they want to be very very cost neutral, or they want to give little more than what the customer pays, and they harvest the returns over a period of time once the competition vanish. So they really want to create a new monopoly in the system. And the world is now trying to reboot. So reboot is nothing but restarting whatever you want to do. And when you are restarting, that is after the COVID scenario, you will definitely it's like a bouncing a ball. So the growth will come, but the growth need to be sustained. It should be profitable. If it is not profitable, then you are not going to gain. The business usual is nothing but gaining from whatever you do. I got this piece from Bain and Company. So they say that the clear understanding during this kind of crisis is expanding the existence. So you adapt something very new. You try to add volume and value to your product so that the consumer will continue with you. And then you also improve your effectiveness by getting into new business units, or create getting into a new geographies. But with our kind of COVID scenario, getting into a new geographies would definitely will be difficult. That is what we all think. But when you go to the US companies, or the companies from UK or German, they all wanting to withdraw from China, and then they want to set up some units in India. Already the talks are on, and that actually improve your effectiveness. So you create new business. In fact, now a lot of automobile companies, they started manufacturing masks and so many new items which they never even thought of, during before this COVID crisis. You also upgrade, your technology, either by adding a new layer, or you really replace a new technology, so that you are really competitive enough. You also need to add new process and activities. Adding new process is not adding to the existing one. Adding new process means, reduce the process, create more effective system. And you are supposed to actually create, or come up with something what you never did it before. And today world can't do calculative risk, because the business is at risk. So you need to be really sure of what you are going to do. So in fact, I was contemplating a couple of polls. So I really want to understand what you really thinking of on the current scenario. uh, uh, in order to sustain the business, the new business game, you need to upskill yourself. So I really, there is a poll button, and
You
I
want me to
would
initiate
like
a poll,
to
sir?
say how many of you really feel you need to upskill yourself. You just click on the poll button. The questions are available in the poll. So I'm just starting the poll. So I really want to see how many feels you really want to upskill yourself. No, almost, I'm getting all 100%. Nobody says I can sustain without upskilling. That is the reality. If you feel, if you are somebody who feels there is no need for upskilling, you will not exist in the business. You will be thrown out of the business, and that is the reality. So let us really understand what are the real woes the companies would be looking forward. Sorry for the smaller fonts. I will read it. I will patch in. The companies will be really looking on the structure. The structure, whether they want a horizontal or a vertical. Is the structure is very lean and mean? Is it flexible and agile? What would be the span of control? Because if you ask me earlier, people will talk about either 8 people reporting to a manager. Today people want to a very flat organization. So they really want a structure that execute not only strategies, but also the business outcome, business results. So that means each person should know a lot of other things. It's like your startup company, where you have a structure, but the structure is very agile and very flexible. The second thing is leadership and people. So in terms of crisis, you always look forward the leader. So what kind of direction he's giving, what kind of collaborative approach he or she is doing with the team, how they are leveraging their teams. Because end of the day, no individual can achieve the business results. It is by the broader people who work in an organization. And whether you could able to do a succession planning for all the critical roles. Because many the time, no, we always feel like hiring from outside the market. But when you hire from outside the market, the person will take time in terms of understanding the current company, current system, people, practice, technology, and whatnot. So it is always critical that leaders should create leaders from nothing. The Because the leadership job is to create more leaders, not just create profits. And in terms of people, whether we have the right people in the right place, whether the performance distribution is okay, is my critical resource, they are all happy with the succession planning, what is the churn we are having. In fact, when I was browsing through a couple of job sites, I could see thousands of jobs during the COVID scenario. When there are two reasons. One, people are being either laid off or not being paid salaries for a long time, or people are feeling that no, there are better jobs to do. So both are really true. And what is the top talent you have, and how you can actually develop the top talent as your leader. and that is becoming more critical going forward. And the skills and competencies, each company need a different competency. For example, a company like us, a non-banking NBFC, which needs which need to fight with the banking sector. We borrow from banks, but we need to fight in the open market. Banks will be giving much lesser rates, whereas we will be giving a higher rate, but we need to convince our customer with different products. What would be the product? If it is a home loan, it is a home loan. Who is bothered whether it is HDFC or SBI or Sundaram Home? But the real difference is the people who got the convincing ability why they need to spend that 0.25 or 0.5% extra in my company. And then that needs a different capability altogether. So uh, the culture plays a major role, because whether it is a very agile, whether it is very open, whether it has the sense of urgency. Because many of the companies I have seen, or sometime now my friends used to discuss with me that whether the company where they are working, whether they have the sense of urgency. I know there are some companies, they understood no, the COVID situation is going to come and there would be a lockout. And then the leadership team, they connected to their international partners, and then they predicted, and then they bought so much of laptops, though so much of move the desktops to the employees house, arranged the systems so that their life is as usual. There are companies which said nothing will happen, there is no sense of urgency, and then they staggered behind. And how you are holding the people accountable for the results, that is a tricky one, because everybody will come up with some reasoning. But no, you need to really understand whether there is a real effort from the people. And then the technology, should I really talk about technology? We all know that technology is the single most thing we all learned during the COVID crisis. So whether my company is investing on the right technology, are they digital friendly, whether they could able to cater the millennium people, is there an automation? In fact, that there is a bank called City Union Bank, which is not Citibank. It is City Union Bank. It is a bank no, from a corner in Tamil Nadu, Kumbakonam. So they introduce a chatbot, a robo called Lakshmi. So the Lakshmi is the what do you call it, the receptionist for that bank. And when the MNC banks were deliberating whether they need to have one, they could able to advance their technology. So I would like to know, have one more poll. Do you think your company is investing on technology? So I hope majority of the companies might be investing on the technology. I, if not so high, they might be investing. If you don't invest, I think you will be lagged behind, and your competition is going to kill you. So I think all people say their company is investing, and that means you are really in the good hands. I also really want to, before getting into the skill and the next part of the presentation, I really want to understand which industry you represent. Probably you can type the industry name, because I really want to give a few examples from those industry: manufacturing, automobile, housing, human resource. Human resource can't be an industry, correct, Srividya? Pharmacy, supply chain. I think the pharmaceutical or the people who are really blessed. Bank, education, software. Education is something which will flourish. While you will see tough times now, education is going to flourish. Telecom, manufacturing, learning and development. Okay. Pharmaceutical, automobile, manufacturing. Okay, education. So this gives you a kind of understanding for me. We all know that we need to upskill ourselves to stay we need to balance ourselves, because if you want to move, if you need to move on, you need to balance yourself. And the skills whatever you possess or whatever you have is going to help you to uh, further uh, have a progressive or career growth. I will just move on to the next slide. You all know that no skill and ability will receive more value than the experience. That doesn't mean that companies may not treat experience as ineffective, but experience will not overtake the skill and ability. In fact, if I jog back on my memory, uh, in 2000 or 1990s, I used to put presentation excel skills as one of the main skill for me. Today if I put excel skill, nobody will give you a nobody might listen to the profile. I need to talk about digital, I need to talk about some analytic stuff, being a HR person. So you really need to be competitive, and you need to actually increase your skills and ability. The entire world is becoming simple and nimble. A complex environment may not actually help you. You all know that there is a company called SpaceX, and in the SpaceX, uh, it is a rocket science, correct? So you see only very few operators, maybe NASA, the government organizations, like uh, uh, few, only very few companies are there. They find it difficult to invest. But if you take something like Zomato, maybe a Uber, you could see so many Ubers, so many Zomatos. When you have a Zomato, you have Uber Eat. So it is very easy to copy the business model. So the business model need to be simple. The business model should help others to earn more. If you take sometime before I was talking to a guy who was delivering a material to me. He says no, he's not a full-time employee. He works in three companies. Morning he works with one company, afternoon he works with another, the third evening he works, and he makes a handsome of money. And you need to be nimble also. It is not just simple, but it should be nimble. Nimble is the speedness or the fastness in which you can really respond to your customer. The new norm would be lean, learn, and mean. What you all know that lean is a Japanese management technique. You need to have a smaller team working with a bigger targets. Learning, yeah, you need to continuously learn. Today the digital learning, anywhere anytime learning, e-learning, those things will come as handy, and you need to really understand that. You also need to be really mean. That mean means, um, whenever I talk the mean, I hope no majority of them are from Tamil Nadu. I can't forget my friend Crazy Mohan, who made a joke out of this mean in Michael Madana Kamarajar movie. So this mean is not that mean, but this mean is how much you can really add value to your business. If you could able to establish what you are adding value, you really make business sense, and you are nobody can touch you. And then I need not tell how much you need to be creative and intelligent. If you are not creative and intelligent, artificial intelligence will take over the natural intelligence. In fact, um, I was talking to a risk officer. You know that companies like share trading companies, some of the wealth management companies, insurance companies, they have something called a risk management team. And they do a lot of analytic stuff. It is actually crazy that artificial intelligence is taking over their job, where you need a lot of creativity. In fact, Vishwanathan Anand, he first fought with a computer before he established himself as a grandmaster. So the creativity and win over the robots, computers, systems is something so critical. life will definitely will move a database decision. So you need to be a data oriented person. The way you see the data makes a lot of difference. So from the data you can actually you can actually do double click, triple click, make no, with the data you can paralyze the system, or you can make some meaningful decision. When you use the data for a meaningful decision, people will support you. When you use the data for unwanted analytics, and then don't apply the 80-20 principle. You all, I hope you all know that 80-20 principle. Normally the 20 percentage of your effort brings you the 80 percentage of the results, and you really need to focus on the low hanging fruits. So you should use data only for that, not for creating the system into a paralytic mode. And the passion and purpose will overrule the pay, because now the pay will be only for what you deliver. And with the gig economy, many people will really want to take certain jobs which they want to really pursue it. In fact, I was telling to a couple of my friends that one of my friend who graduated from IIM and paid closer to I'm talking about almost 10 years before story. He was getting closer to a 1 crore CTC that point in time. One fine morning, he felt, the Eureka movement, and he said, he's going to resign that job. I said, no, are you a fool or something? He said, no, 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 I'm going to pursue my passion, and I'm going to earn too. And he's a photographer. He's a model photographer. Model means not the fashion models, but the tools, the materials. No, he does a lot of photography for manufacturing sectors, and he does a lot of things. In fact, I pushed him to take photography for my daughter. He doesn't do any human photography. He does either wildlife or the modeling photography. So, can you imagine how much he's earning? He sits in Chennai, in one corner of Chennai, in fact, outskirts of Chennai. He does manage a company which is worth of 10 crores now. Okay, so if he would have continued in the last 10 years, he might have got 3 crores his CTC, but he persevered his passion, and he's doing a fabulous job. The world is going to change. The span will increase. In fact, the worry is those who are in mid management, they need to worry a lot, because the low management, the lower management, there could be some stars who will actually eventually get into the mid management and take over the mid management role. And the top management is strong enough to confuse the management and the shareholders, so they will stay. The majorly affected people would be the mid management teams, where the salaries are really in a higher side, and their deliverables are difficult to measure. If your deliverables are easy to measure, maybe a sales and allied thing, you will continue. You need not bother. But the support system, the support staffs, they need to know really tell the management what they are actually delivering. The layers may disappear, many layers will disappear, non-adding business verticals will disappear. Say for example, I have a company which makes a 500 crore or a 1000 crore, and there is a BU which does maybe 30-40 crores with a battalion of staff. That will disappear. So companies will really focus on 80-20 principles now. The working space is changing, the team space. So we all connect through Microsoft Teams, Zooms, whatnot. Your personal space is changing, the me space. Your home is becoming an office. Your office is earlier was the home. They say that no, I work in this company. This is my first home, but now it is becoming an ulta. I am working in my home, and this is my first office. You can work on any open offices, any virtual space, and the gig jobs are going to catch up like anything. So that means there are good news for the working women or the women who got break. So they can actually work with a lot of companies with assignment base. In fact, one of my friend, Miss Soundarya, she ran a company called Avatar. So they help a lot of women to get back to the jobs, and majority of them are gig workers. So the gig workers is not a blue collared, it is a white collared, and the gig will work with a company on contract or assignment based, and once they're and they will work with multiple companies. It is not just a consulting assignment, it is a little more than that, because they come up with a lot of passion and purpose. So I will now move on to one more poll. um, Maybe I really want, which one is very critical in the VUCA world? You want to be best in class or best in cost? And people who are on the call, please put your questions on the chat box. I will read those questions, and then I will answer some of them as we progress on. So the new normal is not normal, it is going to be abnormal, it is going to be VUCA. It is not going to be a predicted one. So today whatever we predict, it is not going to be the same tomorrow. So we all need to really 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 need to see what we are going to do. The best in class is not going to be there without a best in class cost, because you need to be best in class with a best in class cost. The cost is going to be a differentiator, because majority of the companies who are thriving today, who are trying to survive in this pandemic, they may not be there no after couple of years. In fact, no, if you jog back to the Fortune 500 companies, many companies, they don't exit, they don't uh, yeah, there is a question tab, and yeah, I will see the question tabs. Thank you. So you can post the questions on the question tab. So if you see the Fortune 500 companies, they are not there. They could not able to sustain beyond 10 years. That means what? They had single idea, and then they exhausted beyond that. So that is the new norm. Okay. I know there are students who joined the call, there are working professionals who joined the calls. um, Before the call, I also posted in my Facebook and asked people, do you have any questions, or send a message to me. Some of them send a message to my direct numbers. They ask, no, what would be the future job? Will there be so many future jobs? I assure you, there are so much, plenty of jobs are going to come. In fact, in one of the study by one of the big consulting company, they said no, there could be about 1200 300 new jobs going to evolve. That means, majority of the companies will have those position, and you can imagine the number of jobs which will get created. The success of you would be thinking out of box, how you are connected on the social media, on the digital platform, how you are actually convincing your team. So that would be the game changer. So just for the purpose of helping people on various jobs, the healthcare is going to be the new attraction. In fact, pharma and healthcare will be the will attract more investment globally. Software developer, yes, there are many MSME and the small companies, they have not actually hosted something on their cloud computing, so they all will move now. So there would be a high demand for software developer. You all know that Flipkart and Amazons of the world, they are all selling their product even during the crisis. Even a lot of companies like Reliance, or you talk about any of the merchandisers, they all moved into an online platform. In fact, when Facebook bought the WhatsApp, now people are talking about WhatsApp orders. So the e-commerce, the online merchandiser job is going to evolve a lot, and then it is going to be the new norm. I need not stress on big data analyst. When you are talking so much on the digital and other platform, the security issues will always be very high. So you will always see the cyber security expert. You will see a lot of jobs coming in. Agri and food technologist, in fact, I was reading an article that talks about yeah, vertical cultivation. So how a urban space can be used, a high rise building can be used for cultivation. So there are a lot of research happening in that. And the agri and food technologist will attract a lot of that will attract a lot of attraction. Then fitness instructor. Today everybody want to be fit. With the COVID, we become more health expert, as well as we started getting aware of our own health. So that space is going to evolve a lot. Life is all game, correct? So the people who create special effects, special experience. In fact, it is a old story. When the Indian movie was released, a lot of my friends, though 10 quota could able to release that, even earlier, they all visited the cine theater and then looked the film, not because of the film, but because of the special effect. So the companies need to create those kind of experience to people, and this special effects engagement is going to be the new norm. I also kind of listed out some more jobs, like urban agriculturist, nanotechnologist. Today the war field is changing. You need not actually fly so many what do you call flights, so many tankers, so many millions of soldiers. You need a small nano drone which can actually go into this enemy area, and then send you a lot of signal and information. Yeah, yeah, small insect size drones are being developed by some of the advanced countries. And this nano space is going to evolve a lot. In fact, Tata Nano can be a failure, but this Nano can't actually be a failure. Drone operator and manager. Many companies, because you can't create so much of road space. Now the drone space is going to be the new norm. In Dubai, in some of the parts of US, there are pilot study happening today, and people are started talking about how the drone space can be created, drone routes can be created. Just imagine, there are some 200 drones flying, nearby you. It's going to be a different game changer. Just imagine, the imagination will either create a fear or some kind of a thrill on you. Then opportunity spotter. This is something I love to see it in one company. He said, there is a position called opportunity spotter, where this guy will identify new opportunities for the company, and then come up with a heat map to tell, or to tell where is the meat. So those kind of new jobs are going to evolve. Sensor based technology. So today you can't actually touch, when you are entering your office, the biometric reader. So a lot of things are going to be a sensor based. That means it need not be a touch, it can be a touch or non-touch. So there could be a lot of jobs coming onto that. I think drone specialist is another thing. I think you would have heard about the story of a Karnataka guy who was applauded by the PM, and he was now engaged in our aerospace. So you will see a lot of new thing, new stories coming like that. 3D design. So 3D design, not only design but a simulation. So you need not spend crores of money in understanding what went wrong. You can create simulation, and the computers actually can tell you what can come next. So then biohacking again, with after COVID, actually biohacking and bio based weapon inspectors, those kind of jobs are going to come. uh, so these are the jobs. So the today world, I think people who are little elderly, who are about to retire, they understand what I meant in the top. Career path of the past: you join a company, you rise yourself, and then you rest in peace in your life. But today it's not going to be like that. It is going to be, you join a company, you understand the company, you learn a lot, you hop to a new environment, you establish yourself, and then there is complete ambiguity, complete no clarity. So you move on to those kind of non-existent role today. And then in fact, one of the company, they created a work from home coordinator in their HR team. So have you ever heard about work from home coordinator? Yes, that job has already come into our life. So you need to stay relevant. And then the future is something which is not actually readily available, or we have a clarity in front of us. But we need to sail through, and we need to understand what it would be. This slide I actually prepared for those kids out of college. A very interesting slide indeed. You want to do something. You have your pool of goals. What do you want to become, or how you want to spend the rest of your life after college? So you have so many goals from your goal section. But there is a reality. uh, so the world is changing fast. If I want to be a what do you call, a clerical person in a government office, that may not be exist over a period of time. In fact, government don't appoint clerical category nowadays. They use flexi staffing. So you reflect on yourself, adjust yourself, evolve, and then your adjustment will heavily depend on the changing world scenario. So the reality check you need to do. And once you do the reality check, you need to create your own strategy. And it is a vicious cycle where it is a spiral effect. So once you achieve the goal, you need to realign yourself, and this realignment will help you to reach your goal. I know I'm going a little faster. I have not given so many examples which I thought through, but I'm mentioning all the relevant one. The going forward world would be connect, collaborate, coexist. So you connect through any device, collaborate with machines, either machine learning or machines, robots, chatbots. So much of stuff you don't know. The person who is responding to you is a robo. In fact, there was a company called Tallview. They started, and then it was taken over by some other company. You want to hire somebody, you need to tell what person you want to hire, and the robo will question you so many things, and it will learn. And in fact, it will apply those learning, and then it asks so many questions to the person. So you can paint a face to the robo, and the person who is sitting on the other side, connected virtually, he doesn't know he is actually talking to a robo. So that is the kind of technology now we are into. In fact, when iRobo film came, or prior to that, there were a couple of Hollywood movies. I was thinking, these things are, a dream or something. The Iron Man is something. The Iron Man used to fly. I was thinking, how a person can fly. But today you can actually see that in YouTube, there are devices where you can fit it on your body and you can fly. So there, the scientific fiction, whatever we were thinking, is the reality now. So we need to collaborate with those machines, and it is not machine versus man. It is coexisting with the machine and use the machine for the rightful opportunity. So I will pause on here. uh, uh, just a moment. I'll also see, is there any questions? I got only 2 questions. It is prudent to expand a template where a business model is dynamic and geospecific. uh, there can't be any template. Template based approach has gone. You need to actually get into your war room. The war room is real. The war room is immediate. The war room is going to give you some kind of expected results. If the expected results are not there, you need to come up with a new strategy. That is what you need to adapt uh, uh, in this kind of scenario. There is another question from Mr. Anand: how to retain the talent of employees, keeping cost conscious? Retaining the talent, as I said, you need to actually make so much of variable pay, which is more attractive than ever. So that pay can be one motivator, maybe the eighth or ninth motivator, but it still can be a motivator. The way you engage the talent. See, today everybody understands there is a crisis. The business is not as usual. The profits are, many companies are incurring losses. Many companies are not very cash rich. So employees will understand. You need to communicate, collaborate with the employees. You need to consciously engage them, tell them what the management is doing, and how you are counting from your staff for getting a better results. So that is how you need to engage. Engagement can't be just a birthday cake cutting or sending some applauding mail. It should go and then get into the real meaning of engagement. Then are you struggling that the future is for the job hoppers? Are you suggesting? No, I'm not saying that. The job hoppers will see different environment, and they will be really agile. The people who are really changing themselves. When I say that, you need to really know immerse into what is happening today. You can't say that I won't learn the new technology or new skill. For example, you have the CEO. Can you touch the CEO? End of the day, he decides everything. But no, today the board is saying, Array man, you need to learn. Array, the chairperson says, you need to learn, and they create reverse mentoring as an opportunity. So the kid out of college from IIM or IIT or from some business school spend a year or two in a company, and then going to talk a lot in terms of what he or she is feeling, how to manage the business. Something, can you imagine that, some 5 year or 10 year before, a reverse mentoring process. So it is not job hopper. It is more into what you really wanting to do in that space. uh, so hope I'm answering your questions. How to acquire expertise in the area suggested by you? um, anil Anil, you really need to understand what is critical today, what is actually making your business more profitable, sustainable, and what is something you are non-negotiable. So that is where you need to focus. For example, a company into a banking and financial sector, the key thing is data, and then security of the data. So somebody who is actually working on data security, he will not lose his job. An accounting person into a banking field, it is becoming, the governance is becoming so hard day in day out. So if you learn the new skills, you are not going to leave, no, go from your job. So you need to identify, what kind of company you are into. A manufacturing company, you can't say that, no, I will sit at home and then try to see the operation through a camera. You need to be on the shop floor, understand the reality. In fact, allow human machine integration. In fact, the IoT device, I was talking to, earlier I was with Lucas Indian Service, and I have a lot of good friends in Bosch and other companies, which is into a similar area of operation. And in Bosch, they say that no, nearly 60% of their machines are connected. So when you are manufacturing something, your machine says, where they produce 100% error-free product, and it is connected through a computer. So whenever there is a error onto the system, the machine says, there is an error on the system. So it is becoming easier for you, and you really need not put hard effort. So IoT devices are there. And I can add on, in automobile has seen a sea change. Whatever I have seen 20 years before and today, the process orientation is totally changed. They moved in from a complete production to a small production setup. They created lot of new vendors, so they produce for you. So things are changing. So things are changing, and we need to be more meaningful during this pandemic thing. I'm also reading the chats and the questions, so that is why there is a slackness from my end. Great. So I'll move to the next slide. That is, we were in fact I was I'm a proud HR professional, but I hate the HR as a separate non-integrated function. Many the time the HR says, we talk a different language, and then we talk about no work-life balance. What you will balance if there is no work? Your life is totally depend on your work. So there is nothing called work-life balance. It is creating the passion and purpose with people. So balance your family for your future career. If you are not willing to balance, you can't exist in an organization. That is how today's world is moving. And with anytime, anywhere, any device technology, it is more complex. um, I normally say this, we are wirelessly wired, and 24/7 anybody can reach out to you. So the COVID has put you into a lot of trouble. You need to create an indispensable you. How you will create? When others are trying to roll the squares and the cubes, you can actually roll the balls. If you roll it, you are ahead of them. The top picture talks about, when you are growing small plants, if you are stronger enough, you 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 get into a deep rooted into the system, and you become like a tree. Nobody can change you, nobody can remove you. So the goal is to move into that kind of a scenario. And the future is, I think, I don't know whether the past is perfect, but the future is perfect. And it is going to be very meaningful, very interesting, and it is going to create a lot of wow feeler for us. And when we retire, probably in the next 10 years, we would have seen so many things. We would have seen playing at the ground to playing at the mobile, and then now into a VR. And then I don't know whether we will get into a technology where you can actually appear in front of somebody. So that's how it's going to change. And I'm looking forward for some more questions. If there is no questions, um, is there any more questions?
Audience, if you have any questions, please post it on your question tab, which you can able to see on the left-hand side. It's the last call for questions.
And extremely sorry, there was some technical glitch. In fact, I was very passionately making the presentation yesterday night around 12:30, 1ish, from 10 to 1. So I really was looking forward to share my ideas and thoughts, and hope no you spend a meaningful 45 minutes to an hour. I just want to end. No, there is always new ways of doing things. if you sit and then relax, you think new ways. There are ways available. I think COVID did not only give negatives; it also gave a lot of positivity. Like, our air is pure. We can still exploit further the globe. So it is an opportunity. We become more health conscious. We become what do you call started spending good quality time with the family. The entire world, particularly the non-IT sector, learned how to do work from home. So there are so many positives with COVID. So while we all stayed COVID negative, COVID also created a lot of positivity. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks being a wonderful audience.